How's everybody doing today? Again, this is Byron Bradford, aka Brad from the Bradford Files, and I'll be talking to you, coming to you today with, of course, being brought to you today by the B12 Fitness Group, www.b12training.fit.com. Also, Veteran in Crisis 1877 424 383 1877 424 383. Again, B12 Fitness Group. Check it out online. Get your latest shakes, proteins, and amino acids, anything you may need to stay nutritionally healthy. Well, I was just sitting there laughing at this one article. Of course, my career expanded 20 years, 29 years of service, serving this great country we live in, and I was on field artillery majority of that. And so the incident happened out in Fort Bliss where a tank shot another tank. Okay, you're talking to a guy that's field artillery looking at two tanks, one tank accidentally shooting another tank, which was reported. And I'm going to read the report here with the news thing that's coming out of Fort Bliss here. It says Fort Bliss soldier severely injured after tank accidentally shoots his vehicle. That didn't sound like an accident. That sounds like some lack of training, actually. But anyway, Kay Fox had learned that Fort Bliss soldier was seriously injured during a training session last week when his tank accidentally got shot by another tank. Now, witnesses said the Army needs to be held accountable for the incident. Okay, I know the Army isn't that soldier leaders might have screwed up, but the life of a soldier, potentially two soldiers, was put at risk, said a witness of the accident, to the accident. Around 3 a.m. on Monday, July 20th, a witness said he was watching a training session on Fort Bliss where tanks were shooting live rounds at wooden targets. There was a live fire exercise going on in which these tanks were basically simulating fighting against an enemy. But during the exercise, the witness said one of the tanks accidentally identified another tank as a target. Okay, turning the simulated war game into a real thing. And then it said they fired the round. This is in quote. They fired the round, and the round was a training round. It wasn't an explosive one, said the witness. Otherwise, the whole crew would be dead, which is about right. Medical staff rushed to the tank. I guess your combat lifesavers rushed to the tank. That's your medical staff you have with you in those environments. Uh, Medical staff rushed to the tank, which had been damaged by the impact of the shell. That doesn't sound like a practice shell to me. Inside, they found one soldier with severe injuries, including a collapsed lung and a degloving of his left hand. Three of his fingertips were lost, and the skin was ripped off down to the bone. Unfortunately, there was a person on that tank who was first aid qualified. I guess kind of a lifesaver. Able to treat the soldier, most likely saved his life, said the witness. The witness said the soldier was taken from the scene and airlifted to the hospital. We made it back to Mod there. Uh, Kay Fox reached out to Fort Bliss to find out, what could have happened, how the accident happened, and we received a statement from. This came from Fort Bliss Public Affairs Office. There was a training accident during an M1 Abrams tank qualification exercise in a Fort Bliss Training Area, 20 July 2020. One soldier was injured. The soldier received immediate medical assistance, is in stable condition, was released from the hospital, and is now recovering. This can't be the one with the collapsed lung, already recovering. First Armored Division has directed an investigation with full cooperation of the unit involved. We have no further comment at this time because this is an active investigation. I don't think he can recover from a collapsed lung in the span of 24 to 40 hours within 1 week. I just don't think that's going to happen. But the witnesses said they were coming forward because they felt the accident could have been prevented, and they hoped the Army would help, would be held responsible. Why I keep saying the Army responsible? Okay, working with an artillery section, you have the gunner, you have of course your gunner, you got your number one man, number two man, and you have your person that I can't remember the term now, but everybody has a title, have a job, and then you have a section chief who verifies the data that's inside of the device, the, the panoramic telescope. You looking at you just the numbers. You make sure everything, the quadrant. You make sure the information that came from your fire direction control is you meet the left and right limits. You know, there are a lot of things I feel like that's broke here. And so I don't think it's really an Army's fault that this incident happened. I think this just goes back to lack of attention to detail, lack of training, lack of leadership, which we've seen at Fort Hood. Now we've seen at Fort Bliss. We also seeing this thing in the Navy about the sex trafficking ring the Navy were doing over in Bahrain. So they say the Navy, unfortunately, they get lumped up because they got the knuckleheads that's doing this exuding these behaviors out here. So it makes a stain on the whole organization. You know, and yeah, we do, the Navy just had this female passer. She's now a combat pilot. That's great. You know, so there's good and bad. You got bad people out there. You have great people out there. So unfortunately, the bad ones sometimes get the publicity. But anyway, um, this is lead to soldiers of the earth. You almost died that morning, said the witness. I believe it was negligence from the person that fired the round and their tank commander. But mainly, I believe the chain of command, they cared more about the image than the fighter. So, of course, their lives on it. At first, I don't want that to come out. That commander, they don't want that on that OER, the NSOER. That's their career. They get a bad one, especially right now. They're done. Man, they got mortgage, kids. They thought they gonna do this for 20 years. But they get the battalion commander or that this thing hit the media. This was what you don't want. You don't want something in your unit to hit the media because then that's a lot of smoke. That's a lot of smoke for you. So that's what they don't want. Unfortunately, that's that smoke, that platoon sergeant that's in charge of that section, that first sergeant. Uh, he, they know that you know when someone's shouldn't be somewhere. Do you always say something? Probably not, because who else you gonna put in that position? Bottom line is, you got a training accident. Well, I guess it just made me like a tank shoots another tank, not even down range. It happened like in a training area. How does that happen in a training area? That just blows. That's everybody should be fired. Everybody should be fired because you're supposed to qualify. They were getting qualified at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, first of all, I don't know how new this section together. I've been thrown in a section before where at Fort Bliss actually. It's funny. It was at Fort Bliss. I was thrown in a section where I never worked with, but I took them down to NTC. True story. Took them down to NTC, and I had to work on the Q-37 radar. This is a huge radar with a section um, I had no dealings with in the rear. All of a sudden, now I'm their section chief for this big piece of equipment that has a lot of moving pieces, and I have a bunch of young E4s, E1s, E2s, and E3s. E2, I might have one E5 probably, but that's what they gave me. But thanks to my leadership from Fort Bragg, what I learned as a young soldier early in my career, would you grab the bull by the horns? You have to be firm, and if you have to be firm. It's easy. It's easier to back off than to ramp up, and that's something I always took with me. Um, it stayed with me. Smoke tenant, even Sergeant Alexander. I was young, E3, E4 coming in, E3 coming in, and they were very patient with me because I had to adjust, to the military lifestyle as a 19-year-old coming from Texas. So some things I was hard headed sometimes, but I knew they had my best interest at hand, and I was getting paid to do a job, and I said I'm gonna raise my hand to do the right thing. I signed, I made a commitment, and I stuck with it. Um, but for the most part, that when I read that story, Fort Bliss soldiers, tanks accidentally shooting each other in combat, it happened down range. I can see that. You know, lines are blue. Things are moving fast. But to happen at a training base, I think that just lack. I think the whole personally they should just walk away and go away because that man, his life is now his career is going to be cut short. Let me just say that right now. His career is going to be cut short. So thank God he's still alive. He still has his life, but his career is gone, and now he has to make adjustments to his life and his family. Um, but we got some issues we got to work on. but it takes people to acknowledge that and then move toward it. But again, hey, thank you for your time. Just want to share my little experience with you. Being thrown into the fire and having to adjust real quick, and not everybody can do it well. But we need leadership every level, whether it's we're in our schools with the coronavirus right now, open and reopen and close, whatever, however they want to do that. But also in the military, we need it. We need it. We need it in our hospitals. And just pray for all our first responders out there, police officers, all those people that they go out and they go out to do a job, and sometimes people just want to harm them. You know, they want to harm them. So I pray for them and their families as well. But again, thank you for your time. Check out B12 Fitness Group. Go to www.b12training.fit.com for your latest shakes, protein, acids, bars, anything you need. Hey, stand as certified for sports. It is healthy for you. We also have vegan products, but also Veteran in Crisis, 1877 424 33. 1877 424 33. You know, any veterans that need a hand, talk to, get them with the local VA there, Veteran Affairs, get them the help they need. All right. Have a great evening. Thank you for your time.